This is Eagle Mountain Lane in Bernie, California, close to Lake Britain. This is the bridge scene when Gordy and Vern try to outrun the train. And you remember when Vern's crawling on the ground as fast as he could, Gordy trying to motivate him to get up and run? I dodged a lot of trains when I was a kid, so I sort of felt this. The train tracks are gone and the bridge is closed off, so you can't go on it. But you can imagine, even as an actor, the bridge had to be pretty scary to cross. And you can even see over where they jumped off and landed on the ground. This bridge is sort of out in the middle of nowhere, and you have to drive to it. Pretty interesting about all the trailers and movie equipment that was set up in this area. You can tell by the graffiti that a lot of people have made their mark here. I went there during the week and it was pretty quiet and maybe a couple other people were there. But there was a lot of little areas to walk around and you can even walk under the bridge. Also, we seen that there was some people out in a boat in the river. So that's something to do. In the beginning of the movie, the voice of Gordy, spoken by Richard Dreyfuss, you could hear him start to talk about his childhood as he walks out of the store right here. Later, this would also be the location where Gordy gets his hat taken and Chris tries to get it back. And he ends up pinned to the ground and with a cigarette in his face. And his brother's just sort of laughing. Chris's brother Eyeball is sort of a punk for letting his little brother get picked on like this. My brother always took care of me, thank God. But you can re-walk in Gordy's footsteps right here. And just down the street from there, in an alleyway, was a scene where Chris hawked the gun from his old man when he was passed out drunk. And he showed Gordy. And of course, Gordy, being like a dumb kid, pretending he was a tough guy, and squeezed the trigger, and the gun went off. You can still see their faces when they scream after the surprise. And they start running away when the lady comes out of the back, thinking they were shooting off bottle rockets. And Chris is screaming, "Gordy did it! It was Gordy LaChance!" This is the bridge from the scene where they are on their way home after the adventure. And the bridge is actually the first thing you'll do when you walk into the town. You'll cross the bridge. The bridge is also the location where Vern's brother Billy tells Eyeball to swear on his mother's good name not to tell anyone. And he goes on to tell Eyeball that he knows where Ray Brower's body is. The bridge is used a couple of times in this movie. At the end of the movie, after they return from their trip and they're getting ready to part ways, Vern is the first one to take off. And as he starts crossing this street, he sees a penny in the ground and he picks it up and he says, "Oh, look, a penny." And then he just continues to walk away. And you'll see that fire hydrant right there is still there. For the 30th anniversary of this movie, the town actually embedded a penny in the spot that he picked it up from. Look, a penny. It's a funny story that when I first got there, I asked someone about it and where to find it, and he had no idea what I was even talking about. Boom, baba, boom. Then there was my favorite scene, the pie eating contest. And it was right over here without this covering, though. You could just hear them saying, "Boom, baba, boom, baba," as he walked across the stage and started stuffing his face with pies after eating a bunch of eggs. And up here is the audience when they started like the Barful-Rama, and everyone just started throwing up on each other. The twins were throwing up on each other, little kids puking in their mom's bags, and just a complete barf fest. Then just a couple minutes drive up the street is Gordy LaChance's house. The guy that lives there was actually pretty nice and even showed me in the backyard where the flower bed was. And then he pointed up to the window that Gordy was looking out when he screamed down to his parents. There's a couple of things that I didn't get to in here, like the water tower, the junkyard, and Vern's house, where he's looking underneath for his pennies. But this was a really nice trip, and a lot of the people here are nice. With a little bit of research, you can find a lot of spots from this movie.